Hey, it's me, Colin Daniels. Thanks for tuning in to the video blog. This is the series, How to Make a Record in 2 Days. Part 8. Oh yeah, we're up to 8. It's the ocho. Alright, so we're coming to the end of day 1 of the recording sessions, Saturday. Lawrence Oakes, that's his professional name as a famous stage musician, but we all call him Larry, because we're tight, we're peeps. So Larry lays down his lap steel guitar part, and it's really amazing. It's, to me, at the time, I'm trying not to influence your opinion. Although, how you can listen to Larry's lap steel guitar on my record and hate it, it's gotta be something wrong with you. Anyway, I just felt like it was, the sound of it was simple. I don't play lap steel guitar, so I don't know how simple it actually was, technically, skill-wise. But the sound of it was just like, it was that kind of elegantly simple. It just sat in the mix that we had already. It was perfect. It just sat there very lightly and just emphasized things. And I was in love with it, like, as soon as he laid it down. And so Larry was done. Larry was out of there, went back to Jersey. And while Larry was recording his part, James and Martin Newman, who are brothers from North Carolina but have been living in Boston, Massachusetts for the last several years, showed up. They rode the bus down together from Boston. Martin was going to play an additional guitar track on Hey Colleen, and James just came along for the ride, and just because he's a good guy and wants to hang out while an awesome record's being made. I feel like I'm doing that thing where I'm not doing the humble so much. Gotta work on that. So once Larry was done, it was time for Martin to go record his guitar part, and Martin said to me, because Martin and James are in a band called Plumeray. Sorry, I always say Plumeray. It's actually Plumeray. It's AI. I always think like samurai, spelled the same way, but it's Plumeray, and again, it's one of many things I'm trying to work on, because it really pisses them off when you call them Plumeray. They are great guys, but you say Plumeray, and they just get this, it's like a quiet, serial killer kind of look. It's not good. Anyway, so Martin from Plumeray goes into the studio to record his guitar part for Hey Colleen. And now we're getting into this part of Hey Colleen, where we already have all these bass tracks, and now we have all these additional instruments that are coming in. Lap steel guitar, Martin's extra electric guitar with some really cool effects on it, and then we have Clara Kababian, who's going to come in on the next day on Sunday and either play electric violin or acoustic violin. We haven't decided yet. You don't have to decide everything before you... Anyway. So Martin says to me, I have a couple of things that I came up with listening to the rough recording you sent me. I'll play them for you. And so he did, and I was like, those are great. And so he goes, well, what do you want me to do? Like, where do you want me to play in the song? Where do you want me to drop out? Where do you want me to play the first thing that I came up with? Do you like just one part, or do you like both? Do you want the first one in some places and the second one in others? What do you want me to do? And I was like, these are the times where I kind of wish I smoked pot, even though I don't, because it would make more sense how just completely befuddled and just out of answers I am at a moment when answers are like kind of crucial. So I was like, why don't you play the first part for a while and play the second part in other places, like wherever you feels right, and oh, I know, play whatever you do, you pick and choose, Martin, but play through the whole song, so let's lay down a track where you're playing guitar through the entire song, and then I'll work it out in the mixing. I'll chop you out where we need to, and we'll put you in where we need to. Because you can do that now, with these computers and Pro Tools and like all the digits. It's for shizzle. So he said, okay, thanks for the really clear direction, Mr. Producer of your own record. Glad you put some thought into this. But I just want to say, in defense of myself, and to be serious for a moment, that the reason I said this in parts 1 or 2 or 17, whatever, I specifically did not tell people what to write or what to play, because number one, all of these people were very talented at creating their own music, and I wanted to benefit from that, wanted a little of their gold in my treasure chest, if you know what I mean. And that sounded dirty. Anyway. But the second thing is I just felt like they just have such good instincts about what works in a song that I really wanted it to be a group creative process, even though it was obviously my solo record and I was leading the way in many ways, none of which were evident at this moment in the story. But, you know, the rest of the time I was clearly in charge, calling the shots, you know, rocking out, being a leader. That's what I do. So, yeah, so I on purpose decided to ditch the idea of telling people what to do, but I think it did leave some of the musicians in a little bit of a lurch because they didn't know exactly. They thought that I would tell them what I wanted, and but it ended up being great because everybody did their best stuff. Like Martin's guitar part was just, oh, again, you're entitled to your own opinion, but it was just gorgeous. And so when he got out of the studio, I was like, man, that was great. That was awesome. Thank you so much. I was like, I think I'm going to keep your whole part, man. It sounds great all through the song. And Martin, who's, I guess I should just say is one of many people who is smarter than I am, said, you know, I would reconsider that maybe and really listen to all the tracks you have, and because I think it might really work a lot better if you just put me in certain places to accentuate certain things or when it feels right. He's like, I feel like you got so many instruments going on. If you have everybody, you know, playing all the time, it's going to be hard on the listener because there's only so much sonic space. You know, people's ears are only so big. Anyway, I don't think he said that, but I knew what he meant, you know, and I said, oh, thanks, Martin. That's really good counsel. I appreciate that as a colleague and a fellow musician and a friend, you telling me that. And then so James and Martin got back on the bus, and in my mind I was like, I'm totally using his whole part. Whatever, put it in certain places. Pfft, it's freaking amazing. Like, I'm not gonna, whatever. At this point, it may be important to point out that I don't know what a nightmare I've created for myself when Ian and I have to mix this whole thing by ourselves the next day after everything's been recorded. But I'm past 7 minutes. I've been trying to hold it to 5, and it's just, man, I could talk. It's good that I'm a musician because, like, songs are limited. You know what I mean? Like, I got 3 or 4 minutes. You know, that's like a rule. Although, you know, I guess if you look at the live version of a certain song by a certain band whose name kind of sounds like heavy metal blimp, you know, it's kind of a miracle I didn't get inspired by that and that all my songs are not like 17 minutes long. But so tune in for it's hard to say, part 9. We're done with day 1. We're done with day 1. Do you feel like we've accomplished something? I feel like I've accomplished something. Not just that the record is made and that I'm talking about, but like I feel like in this video blog series, part 8 is like a hump that we've gotten over.